Hey guys, Marcus Melnick here with Firearm Mentor. Hope you're enjoying my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. These little things are free to you and really help the channel. I appreciate your support. Enjoy. Thank you.
The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters. Greetings and welcome to the Personal Safety Show. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor and Stress to Logic, your host. Happy November. I am thrilled that the election is over. I'm sick of all of the rhetoric and on both sides. And about a third of the country, maybe half of the country, is really down in the dumps because their candidate didn't win, which was inevitable. Not the fact that their candidate didn't win, but the fact that about a third or a half of the country was going to be disappointed with the outcome, particularly because it was a relatively close race. These people who are very disappointed, some of them to the extreme are just screaming and yelling, and some of them, there's some funny videos on TikTok, but some people are truly scared and truly upset. So I would encourage you to go to my YouTube page, which is Firearm Mentor on YouTube, and look up my TED Talk. My TED Talk is about how to overcome the human stress response, which is what's happening here. Everyone is stressed, or at least the people that are disappointed are stressed. As well as there's a website called theoppositeofsafe.com. Again, that is theoppositeofsafe.com, and that is where I have several books for sale, including one called Overcoming the Hot Stress Mess. And it's the companion book to the TED Talk's the abbreviated version of the keynote that I give, but the book is the companion book to that seminar. So I would encourage everyone, if you're feeling stressed, or even if you're not and you're interested in learning about this, order the book, theoppositeofsafe.com, look on YouTube under Firearm Mentor, and look up my TED Talk. And hopefully this helps the people who are not only disappointed and saddened by the results of the election, but at the same time, it will help people who are elated because of the election, because that is also an emotional response. So the whole topic is how to snap out of the involuntary things that happen to our body when we are in a stressful situation. Those things include the phenomenon such as tunnel vision, auditory exclusion, cognitive dysfunction, and it snaps your brain back into the moment. A lot of people will go out into nature. That's a great stress reliever, as well as deep breathing. And some people call it Lamaze, diaphragmatic breathing, Buddha breathing, combat breathing. It's all the same thing. It's oxygenating your brain so that more blood can go to the prefrontal cortex, which is your thought center, as opposed to your amygdala, which is your emotional control center. So congratulations to everybody who was involved in the election, whether you voted or whether you were a candidate, whether you won, whether you didn't win. Great campaigns. I appreciate everybody's desire to exercise their rights to vote as well as run for office. So kudos to everyone out there. This was a tough election season, and a lot of things remain to be seen. Now, interestingly enough, for the people who did not support President Trump, or President-elect Trump is the right word, not much is going to change. Look, there's this whole migrant crisis. I haven't seen anything. Maybe I saw a couple of homeless people that particularly had darker skin than I did, but that was it. I wasn't affected by that. I was emotionally affected by the war in Israel, but again, I don't have any direct contact with it. So a lot of things aren't going to change. One thing I hope that does change is I hope prices come down on everything, whether it is the interest rate, whether it is the price of vehicles, price of groceries, etc., etc. My hope is that under a Trump presidency, some of these costs that have resulted from inflation will return back to a state of normalcy. Now, I'm not holding my breath because things like that don't always happen, but I hope that it will. So, folks, I am in the process of switching over my customer relationship management software. My experience has been an absolute disaster, and I'm ready to fire the company that I currently use. So I have switched to a temporary CRM software for people to book their classes. I'm putting out the next quarter 2025 Q1 list of classes that I'm going to teach, and I'll share with you those dates. The links are not active yet to sign up for classes. However, I have classes scheduled on January 11th and 12th, the 12th being the renewal. Then on February 8th to the 9th, again, the 9th being on the renewal. Don't worry, you'll be home in plenty of time for the Super Bowl. And then March 15th and 16th, again, with the 16th being the date for renewals. Now, I also occasionally will get really weird messages. This one wasn't so weird, but at the same time, I want to share with everyone a couple of things that I do. I teach through my second business, Stress to Logic. That website is stress2logic.com. I teach a Street Smart seminar, and the Street Smart seminar is geared towards specific populations, and it can be adapted and modified towards any population. So I started doing it with real estate agents. It expanded to Street Smarts for older Americans, which I've delivered a number of times. And then this past week, I was in Northbrook, Illinois at Total Link. Total Link is a program, they accept donations too, for adults with special needs. And I was asked to do a Street Smart seminar for these young adults. They were all relatively in their 20s or so. A lot of them had Down syndrome, and that's the only thing I could really identify. I used to work with special needs populations, and I absolutely love them because they are so uninhibited. You tell a joke, nothing holds them back. They laugh, they interact. There's no filter. I absolutely love these populations. So I delivered this Street Smart seminar, and I always try to gear it towards the audience. So in this case, I asked the coordinator, I said, hey, what do these people watch on TV? And she told me the Disney Channel. So one of my things that I do with my shtick is I have a picture from 1988 of me in a police uniform, and I'm interviewing, a 3-year-old little boy. It ended up being in the local papers. And I show that picture, and I say, this is a picture of me. Aren't I cute? And everyone gravitates towards the little boy in the picture, and they all say, oh, yeah, you're cute, you're cute. And then I say, well, I'm on the right, so I'm in the police uniform on the right of the photo. So I did that with this group, and they were kind of shocked, and then I started singing the Moana song, I see what's happening here, you're welcome. And they went nuts. It was absolutely fabulous. So I got my finger on the pulse of what the local scams are, and I try to protect people by teaching these seminars, and focuses on 3 areas: financial safety, online safety, and physical safety. The physical safety is the active shooter response, those types of things. So speaking of scams, with this temporary CRM booking software that I use, people can contact you, and I got a contact. I would like to know if you're available to coach my son, Brian. Let me know your rate. Let me start over. The message says, I would like to know if you're available to coach my son, Brian, no period, no capitalization, new sentence. Let me know your rate. And so I responded with them. I responded, thank you for reaching out. I'm currently available. I'm certainly available to teach you and Brian. and I tell them my rate, which is $100 a lesson for a 60 to 90 minute session. Ammunition and range fees are not included. I typically teach weekday evenings, and I give them some dates. And the response I got was this: hello, comma, no double space. Thanks for your email, comma, no space. I'm delighted to know you are available to coach my son with his lessons, comma, he is 17 years old, period, single space. We reside in London, parenthesis, Luton, Lutton, which I'm guessing is a town in London, comma. I'm into real estate and hotel management, work here, comma. My son Brian will be relocating temporarily to my sister house in your state, comma, less than 2 weeks from this date, and I'm hoping the lessons can begin, period. New paragraph, no spaces. My wife and I want to know your hour rate charges, and we are hoping to work out an arrangement here, comma. Keep in mind, I already gave him my rates. What we really want is for Brian to improve his capital S skills and strength, and he has a few lessons here in Luton, but nothing too concrete, no punctuation. I must say so. I guess you will be taking him partly as a beginner too, though he picked up interest since he was about 7 years old, thereabout, period, no space. I would like the lessons to hold 2 times a week for 1 hour each day of the lessons for a total duration of 6 weeks, period, no capitalization. How much would that total to, question mark. Brian's time is very open, no comma, so we would have you plan for the lesson days and times that suits you, period. Thanks again for your email, comma, no capitalization. Do get back to me on this, and we can proceed on arrangements then. And Brian's schedule is fully open now, so any time and day work. Regards, not signed. This is a scam, guys. Look, the punctuation sucks. The capitalization sucks. Interestingly, there was no British spelling of words, even though they're from London. This scam is typically from someone who is from another country. They want to set up multiple lessons, and guess what? Nobody does that. Nobody in the United States says, I want to set up 6 weeks worth of lessons. Look, I can get someone on their way to gun ownership within 2 to 3 lessons. That's not 12, not 6 weeks worth. That's what makes me good at what I do. Instead of stringing someone along, like, I don't know, a chiropractor, you have to see them multiple times for them to fix you. Instead, I'm more like a naturopath where 1 to 2 sessions, and guess what? We are good to go. So that is a scam out there. A lot of instructors get these. This just happens to be the latest one. So it's the holiday season. I would caution everyone out there to just be aware of scams. Write your checks with gel pens and check your bank accounts. Check your credit card accounts regularly, because there might be a charge on there that you don't understand, or not you don't understand, but you don't recognize. Therefore, I would love everyone to be safe financially, have a wonderful holiday season. With that said, we're going to segue into some gun news. But before we do, take a listen. I want my listeners to know that this is my dream, teaching people about safety. If it weren't for you, if it weren't for my listeners, I couldn't live my dream. So on behalf of my family and myself, I want to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to live my dream. And I also want to continue to live my dream, and I'm excited to continue to spread the word of safety. Recently, I began a new service as a conference keynote speaker. So if anyone would like for me to speak at future events, or if anyone knows of an introduction or would like to discuss how we can work with one another, I'd love to do just that. The keynote speaking website is www.stress2logic.com. That is STRESS, 2 LOGIC.com. If you're aware of any conference speaking engagements where you'd like to have me speak, I'd love an introduction. You can always share my electronic business card, which is Marcus Melnick, MarcusMelnick.com. Now, back to the show. Also, one of the things that I failed to mention was nobody has guns in London. So that was a huge red flag. Anyway, we'll get back to the show. So online, I'm always reading articles. I'm trying to stay up to date. And I ran across an article that says, is gun cleaning really necessary? And for a lot of people who own firearms, cleaning is either an obsession or a tedious chore to be avoided. Whether you're meticulous about keeping every gun spotless or someone who rarely bothers, gun maintenance can often seem time-consuming. How much cleaning is truly necessary to keep your gun in working order? Turns out the answer is not as black and white as some people may think, and I will opine on this at the end after I'm reviewing the article. There are situations where cleaning can be crucial, but other times a little lube might be all your firearm really needs, and I disagree with that in the article. There's an image, it's from Survival World. I'm not sure where they got this information. One of the common misconceptions is that a gun should be cleaned after every single use. What the heck am I reading? While it's true that a clean gun is less likely to have performance issues, cleaning doesn't have to become a ritual after each session at the range. Many modern firearms are designed to function reliably, even if they accumulate a bit of dirt or carbon buildup. Cleaning can help prevent wear and tear, but over-cleaning isn't necessary for most quality firearms as long as they're properly lubricated. Again, I'm calling BS on this. Today's guns are more resilient than ever thanks to advanced materials and engineering. A well-made modern gun can often go through thousands of rounds between deep cleanings. Baloney. As long as it's lubricated regularly. Baloney. For a comparison, think of a reliable modern car. It doesn't require daily maintenance to keep running. You don't have to pop the hood every time you drive. It's only when issues need a closer look. You still have to put gas in your car, everyone. Same logic, according to this baloney article, applies to contemporary firearms. A key takeaway for gun owners should be the importance of lubrication over cleaning. Baloney. Lubrication is a critical factor in the gun's performance, more so than a spotless barrel or gleaming action. Ensuring the moving parts are properly lubricated reduces friction. So does cleaning, which can prevent jams and make the firing mechanism work smoothly. Many shooters stress about keeping their guns clean, but forget lubrication is the real key to longevity. Certain types of guns do require more frequent cleaning than others. Rimfire guns, for example, are notorious for accumulating carbon buildup and other residue, which can impact their reliability. Okay, I actually agree with that. Typically, rimfire ammunition shoots a little bit dirty. You do need to clean those guns. Revolvers, too, tend to gather debris under the extractor star, which can cause jams. Who ever heard of a revolver jamming? Seriously? These guns benefit from routine cleanings because they're more susceptible to issues from fouling and buildup than many other firearms. Prep before use. When buying a new firearm, this article then says many owners overlook the fact that the factory coating isn't designed for lubrication. It's often meant to prevent rust during storage. That's like the cosmoline grease you see military rifles stored in for decades. So it's wise to clean off this factory coating and apply a fresh coat of lube. The initial cleaning ensures your gun runs smoothly from the start, reduces the chance of problems related to inadequate lubrication. Now, I'm going to speak from experience here. I don't clean my guns before I shoot them if I buy a new one. I've never, ever, ever had a problem because of that. Ever. And I've only been shooting since 1980. As far as shotguns require a different approach to cleaning. The plastic wad from the shotgun shells sometimes leaves behind a residue that can build up over time. Unlike other firearms, they do need occasional cleaning to maintain accuracy and ensure a smooth shot pattern. Neglecting this can make it difficult to clean out buildup later, so a little preventative care can help you in the long run. Some ammo is corrosive. It's less common today, but corrosive ammunition is still something to watch for, which could come from surplus military ammo. Sometimes they contain corrosive primers. Failing to clean your gun immediately after shooting such ammo can result in rust forming within hours. When using this type of ammunition, it is essential to clean your gun thoroughly right away to avoid damage. Even if you don't use your guns often, idle firearms are not immune to maintenance issues. Lube can evaporate over time, and humidity can lead to rust. It's a good idea to periodically check on any guns that have been sitting unused, particularly if they're stored in high humidity areas. Applying a coat of oil can keep them in top shape and help prevent long-term damage. I agree with this. Coat them in oil if they are your safe queen. Coat them in just a tiny, tiny bit of oil because they can be susceptible to environmental factors. Now, when we order something on Amazon, or we get new shoes, or we get a piece of furniture, it comes with a silica packet, which is a desiccant. It absorbs moisture. I save them. Every January, I put them in all my ammo containers. I put them in my gun safes so that there is not a humid environment. As far as concealed carry guns, you do need to clean them because they're often suggested to pocket lint, dust, and sweat. As a matter of fact, I qualified a student who had a Ruger LCP, and I took it apart. It didn't look right. I blew through the barrel with the gun disassembled. I don't want you to think I blew smoke off the barrel like they do in the Wild West. It's dangerous. And I saw the barrel was blocked, so I blew through it, and a huge thing of dust and lint flew out the other side. And the student was pretty surprised. I was like, yeah, I think you need to clean this. So when you do carry a gun, it does attract more environmental factors. And look, let me give you my opinion. You have to clean your guns each time you shoot them, at least your defensive firearms. Why am I saying that? Well, it's not that they're not going to function. They are going to function. As a matter of fact, I have a student, and he had a Glock 19, an original Glock 19, that he had not cleaned ever. And it was from the 1980s. So I actually helped him clean it. It's good. I showed him what to do, and he's very happy. But that's not the reason. It still went bang every time. That's not the reason you clean your guns. The reason is, picture this. Middle of the night, you hear a crash. Your spouse wakes you and says, hey, get the gun. Somebody's in the house. Because you hear some weird stuff going on. So you take the firearm and you clear the house. And you see the front, you yell out, get out of here, I have a gun. You go to the front door, you see it hanging off its hinges. Nobody's in the house. You're perfectly safe. The next thing a normal person would do would be to call 911. And the police are going to show up. And if you're in Illinois, well, let me table that. The police are going to show up. They're going to investigate what happened. What happened? And you're going to tell them because you're an honest person. And in Illinois, you're going to be asked for your FOID card because the cops want to know that you are an actual legitimate owner of the firearm that you said you had. So then they're going to say to you, did you shoot at the bad guy or the intruder or the burglar or the suspect, whatever, the perp? And you're an honest person, so you're going to say no. And they're going to say, are you sure you didn't shoot at him? And since you're an honest person, you're going to say, of course I'm sure. Let me see your firearm. And then you show the gun to the cop who wipes it with his little pinky or her little pinky, and their pinky comes up black from all of the soot and all sorts of other stuff because you listened to a stupid article online that says you don't have to clean your guns. You have to clean your guns because in that little micro scenario, from the police officer's perspective, you lied to them. Cops are taught that everybody lies to them. The victim lies because they want the offender to get into more trouble. The offender lies because they're trying to get out of trouble. And the witness lies because they just want to get on TV. I was taught that decades ago. And I never really believed the whole witness thing until about a year ago. There was a man in Chicago 16 years ago, well, now it's 17, who was convicted of a murder. 16 years after serving time in prison, it was revealed that the star eyewitness was blind. Let me repeat that. The star eyewitness to a murder case was blind. Shame on the attorneys for not determining that at the time of the trial. This guy, and he may have had a record of other things, I don't really know, but he was accused of a crime and convicted of a crime that he didn't commit based upon an unreliable witness. So there are witnesses that do lie to the police because they want to get on TV. Have you ever seen any of the witnesses on TV or heard them? They're not usually the most intelligent people, but they're very excited to talk to the media. So yes, you do need to clean your guns. Now, quite honestly, if somebody takes a class from me, like a concealed carry class, they are entitled and offered a free cleaning lesson. Or if somebody takes 2 shooting lessons with me, they're not interested in concealed carry, again, they are offered a free cleaning lesson. And what I do is I sit across the table from them and clean a similar firearm or one that takes apart similarly so they can mimic what I'm doing. I always have dirty firearms, but these aren't the firearms that I use for self-defense. These are the ones that I use to teach classes, and I'm teaching classes almost every day. As a matter of fact, my next concealed carry class is going to be the first weekend of December 7th and 8th in the northwest suburbs. You can sign up at firearmmentor.com/classes. And we will be back shortly after a brief break. The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.